Good morning. Welcome to day 130, Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. It is 47 degrees in the tent. It's another nice chilly morning. We're camped not too far from off the highway here. I think it's Highway 58. We've got about a 5-mile road walk to the gas station for hopefully some breakfast of some sort. And then another 8 miles of road walking back to the PCT trailhead at Willamette Pass. So about a total of 13 miles of road walk today. And then we'll be back on the PCT and probably do a few miles on the trail and call it a day. I think I wasn't sure how long this road walk detour would be. But I think I'm going to get into Bend, Oregon a day earlier than I thought I would. So I'll have to do some rearranging of hotel reservations. But I'm going to wait one more day and just make sure that still looks right. So I'm going to get packed up here and we'll see you on the road. It's another cold one. It was 33 degrees when I left. We're just entering Crescent Lake, the gas station / convenience store is probably about 4 miles away. Another cold morning, but we've made it to the Sinclair gas station. Fingers crossed for breakfast and coffee. Oh yeah. All right, it's about 8 o'clock. We're here at the Sinclair. The sun is finally warming me up. Got another cup of coffee. Got a couple of sausage, egg, and cheese on English muffins. Got some more dots. I'm gonna pack up and then treated myself to some Chips Ahoy. So I'll get all those in Ziploc containers or bags, and we're just gonna sit in the sun and warm up a bit before we got another 8 miles of road walking to do. All right, it's about 8:30. We're well fed. We're enjoying our second cup of coffee here at the Sinclair gas station. So this road walk I've been doing, there were 2 fires. There were one in Crater Lake National Park, and then another one that I'm skirting now. It's the Diamond Complex Trail Fire. The good news is, the latest update is it's 77% contained. So that's awesome. They're kind of on the mop-up operations now, which means they pretty much have it in hand. So this fire, hopefully it's on its last legs, like the one I went around in Etna and Fort Jones as well. So we'll be back on the trail. The next wildfire, I think there's a trail alternate I can take, so there won't be any road walking. Although this is a perk of road walking, being able to get some food. And then Washington State will be our next, as of right now, wildfire hotspot, with a bunch happening there at both borders, at the Oregon border and the Canadian border, and then in between. So we'll worry about that when we get there. Our next town is Bend. When we link back up to the trail, about 8 or 9 miles from here, we'll be about 100 miles from Bend. So probably another 5 days on the trail before we get off into town. So that's the update, and we'll see you on the road. All right, so it's almost 9 o'clock. I'll be leaving soon, but I was feeling like some ice cream. They had Ben and Jerry's pints, but didn't have chocolate chip cookie dough. But they had these guys, which I discovered. I guess they're only made in Oregon, and this is really good. So I'll have one of these before I take off. All right, it's 9:30. So far, pretty comfortable. The only scary part about this highway walk is when it's a dotted line, and there's no cars approaching me, but a car going the other way will pass a tractor trailer or something. I have no idea. And then they'll whoosh right by me. It's a little startling. It's happened a couple times, so there's no getting around that. Just had a minivan drive by. All the windows were open. People were hanging out of every window clapping. I imagine they're getting a ride to Shelter Cove. A little motivation. Very cool. We just passed a sign saying there's a viewpoint in a quarter mile. So we'll probably take a break there, air out the feet, see what's going on. All right, it's about 10:15. We're gonna take a quick break here. We've got a picnic table, so let's take advantage of that. Well, this is right off the highway. It's a pretty nice view. That's Diamond Peak in the center there. Very nice. Time for some Powerade. So we're at Odell Lake. Very nice. We're at the Diamond Peak Lookout Point. Looks like we got about 4.5 miles back to the trailhead for the PCT at Willamette Pass. So we're making pretty good time. Gonna air out the feet here, relax for a little bit. I don't think it's showing up on the video, but there's a ton of flies, bugs on the water, and the fish are jumping up for breakfast. A lot of activity going on here. So I just took a picture, a screenshot on Far Out. I'll insert here to kind of show you where I am right now, and I can finally see the PCT again on this map. We made it. We're back on the Pacific Crest Trail. Woohoo! Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We made it to Lower Rosary Lake. Really nice, a popular day hiking spot for sure. Not too far from the trailhead. So with doing like 13 miles of road walking this morning, my legs and feet are all messed up now that we're back on the trail. So I'm only gonna do another, I think, couple miles today, and then we'll go for a full 20 miles after that, starting tomorrow. It's a shame too, because about 8 miles away from here is a lake called Bobby Lake, my son's name. I would love to camp there, but there's just no way. I don't think I have 8 miles in me today. I mean, I could do it, but it wouldn't be the smartest move. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna get water at the outlet on the Upper Rosary Lake, and then just go another like mile. There's supposed to be an amazing campsite not too far after that. So that's my goal. Really pretty lake here for sure, and doesn't take a lot to get here. If you're ever in this section of Oregon, highly recommend it. It's a nice hike to this lake. Come check it out. Lower Rosary Lake. All right, we're at Middle Rosary Lake, heading towards Upper Rosary Lake. All right, it's getting close to 2. Getting a bunch of water from Middle Rosary Lake. There was a couple with a dog between Middle and Upper where I was gonna go, but I don't want to be near where the dog is jumping in the water. So the water is not ice cold. I don't know if there's going to be an outlet or inlet stream, so I may dump out the C-Knock if I find colder water along the way, but this will be fine if this is all there is. And I still have a can of Pepsi in my bear vault, and hopefully that'll be relatively cool. So I'm gonna refill this up and then we'll get moving. All right, so I got a bunch of water, got about 1.25 miles to go to what seems like a pretty nice dry campsite. So let's go check it out. All right, here's our last lake of the day, Upper Rosary Lake. So our campsite, we might get some good views of these lakes from a little higher up. We'll see. All right, it's about 2:30. I think I'm gonna call it for the day. I did bring water up here. We're at like a high point. The next water source is about 5 miles away. I just don't feel like I've got that in me after that road walk. So I'm gonna stop a bit short today as far as time goes. Mileage, probably close to, I guess, 18 miles, something like that. But that's good. We're in good shape. We just do 20-mile days for the next few days until we get to town. And we're still going to be like a day ahead of schedule, I think. I'm going to check all that out. But found a shady spot here. Should be pretty secluded. So I'm going to get camp set up and crack open that Pepsi. I hope it's still relatively cold. Okay, so since I'm a little early today, I am, believe it or not, I am tired. Someone commented on one of the videos. And again, thanks for all the likes and the hearts and the comments on the videos. I'm glad people are watching them and enjoying them. And it looks like, you know, for the one unique thing about these videos is like people tend to watch the whole thing. And I guess for YouTube, that's unusual. So it's kind of cool to see that and people kind of like following this journey. I like recording it and editing it, except for every once in a while where it just becomes a chore, but most times I really enjoy it. So, and I'll definitely love going back and watching this because it's all blur. I can't believe it's been over 4 months. It's all blur. Anyway, someone had asked what my routine is when I set up camp. So I think I'll go through it step by step. So obviously first I try and find a spot. This is pretty flat. It'll be no impact when I leave. I'm not like crushing grass or plants or anything. It's just duff. It's slightly slanted. So I'll have my head at the top part of it, my feet at the bottom, and I don't think I'll be sliding down too much. And if I do, it's just it's fine. So first thing I do is I take off my trail runners and I put on my Crocs, give my poor feet some breathing room. I'll get out my tent poles and my tent. And then the very next thing I'll do is I'll grab my Garmin InReach. So if you're not familiar with this, it's a tracking device and a communication device, and you don't need cell service. It works with the satellites. I will send Sarah a message at the end of the day letting her know this is my campsite for the night. And then I will also save my track for the day, my GPS track. So that's done. Next thing I'll do is I'll get my poles out and I'll get the tent set up. All right, so the tent is set up. I could get away with for the past 4 weeks, easily 4 to 6 weeks of not putting the fly on. But it's getting up to a point where it really is getting cold at night. At least it has for the past week. So I'm going to put the rain fly on and I'll keep both vestibule doors open, at least for now, for ventilation. So let's do that. All right, so now I basically have the shell of the tent set up, and I will start to transfer everything from my backpack into the tent. And I kind of have a system for doing it, so the routine is kind of every day is the same. I unpack the pack the same way and repack it, so that hopefully I don't leave anything behind, like a coffee mug. All right, so first I'll empty out the brain of my pack. So electronics are up top. My food bag for the day is up top in a Ziploc bag. And then I will pull out my headlamp, my meds, and Bluetooth earbuds. And then everything else will just stay in the brain, like my passport, money, ID, credit cards. I don't pull them out. I just leave them in the top in the brain and have a few spare Ziploc bags. Then we go to the heart of the pack. So I'll pull out my clothing bag, stuff sack, fleece hat, another layer, and now it's getting a little bit colder. I also will have my R1 hoodie ready to go and gloves. And because we had the dry camp here, I've got a CNOC full of water to go in the tent. Filtration, I'm gonna have to filter all that. All right, so I've got my Jetboil stove, my coffee mug, my Bear Vault with hopefully a cold Pepsi inside. I've got my sleeping bag and a compression stuff sack. So that'll be staying there until I get my air mattress going. So that'll be next. I'll pull out the air mattress, get that blown up. So one of my luxury items to blow up my air mattress is this little compressor. It blows air. So I have this in my battery pack stuff sack. So before I blow up the air mattress, I'll pull out a battery pack and charging cables and start charging. Now my InReach Mini is down to like 60%, so I'll top that off. And the refurbished iPhone I use for music and audiobooks is getting, I think it was like below 50%. So I'll get those two guys charging off a battery pack while I'm still getting everything else organized. Okay, so I've got my Garmin and my iPhone charging, and now we're going to get this air mattress blown up. And once the air mattress is done, I get the sleeping bag on, and I have an inflatable pillow, and I'll get this inflated up. And at the bottom of the pack, I have a fuel canister, coffee supplies. So now the pack is pretty much empty. Because we're at a dry camp, I already have my hydration bladder filled with filtered water, or I would take care of that now. So basically, I would do all my water chores now, but I already had them all done because we lugged all the water up here. So the pack is now ready to go in the tent. So I'll throw the pack in the tent, throw my camp chair in the tent, and then I will throw myself in the tent. Okay, so now I'm in the tent. There's usually a few flies or bugs to deal with. What happens a lot is while the short time the backpack is on the ground, a bunch of black ants will be on it or around it or in nooks and crannies. So when I threw the backpack in the tent, there's usually a few ants. Here's one that have to be dealt with. Now the ants, I try and get back out of the tent alive. The mosquitoes and flies, not so much. All right, so at this point, if it was really hot, I get some electrolytes going. Pretty good right now, and I'm gonna crack open that Pepsi in a little bit and have some pretzels with that. And then I'll look at my day food bag, and if I used electrolytes, replace those, add more beef jerky, add more honey roasted peanuts, add more breakfast bars, whatever I need to make it a full bag for tomorrow. And then that'll be done. And then I will figure out what's for dinner. I think for tonight, I'll do some mashed potatoes, and then I'll do probably a peak refuel just because it only uses a cup of water, and I don't have unlimited water here. And yeah, oh, another ant, hold on. As I just removed 3 ants from the tent. They're all alive and kicking. Yeah, it's amazing how many get in here just from being on gear or in my shoes or whatever. So, yep. So after that, um, I'll edit today's video, get it situated and ready to upload. And then I can really start to relax and snack and just kind of chill out. Oh, another ant. And that's my tent routine. All right, let's do a recap for the day. First off, most importantly, the Pepsi is still cold. Amazing. And it just goes so well with these Dots pretzels. So, yummy. We're at about 6350 in elevation. So we're pretty high up. I'm sure it's going to cool down again tonight. We did about, I think, 14 miles of road walking and then another 3-4 miles of trail. So right around 18 miles. And I definitely could have pushed, if there was like water 2 to 4 miles down the trail, I probably would have kept going. But because there was no water till almost like 6 miles away, I thought the compromise was to get water down at Rosary Lakes and just go a little bit further. So that's what I did. And we're set up for about 86 miles in total until we hit the road to get into Bend, Oregon. So that's 4 full days of hiking and then a little bit of hiking on the 5th day. So I think that means I need to change my hotel reservations and bump them up a day. I just wasn't sure how long this road walk detour would be and where that would set me back. And because Sarah had already mailed my resupply packages to the Home 2 suites, I wanted to make sure I had a reservation there so they would hold the package. So if I have cell service, I'll take care of that tonight. I'll just cancel the current one and then rebook it for a couple days earlier. I'm glad I did pick this tent site a little bit away from the established campsite. There has been some people going by. I don't know if anyone's camping there yet, but I'm kind of off the beaten path here, so should be pretty quiet here. Feel good. Like I said, walking on the road, it just uses different muscles in your legs and your feet get torn up pretty good. So stopping early just to let them rest and get used to being back on the trail, I think is a good idea. And especially since I'm like a day ahead of schedule anyway. Not that there's a real schedule, but just how long I thought it would be, I'm a day ahead. So just stopped a couple hours early today. Totally fine with that. So that is the update. We'll see you in the morning.